After dropping 2 straight to the Red Sox at Turner Field, the interleague interlude shifts to Boston, where the Braves starter Gavin Floyd has flourished. Tonight, he'll be backed by a new face at second base. Tommy La Stella has been added to the Braves lineup as the Braves go after a win tonight in Fenway Park. It's Game 3 of our interleague series next on Sports South. We welcome you to the hub, Boston, Massachusetts, and historic Fenway Park as the Braves and Red Sox renew hostilities. The final 2 games of our 4-game home-and-home series start tonight here in Beantown. All year long, Braves baseball is brought to you by our friends at Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day. The Braves are indeed at Fenway Park. They try to get on the board head-to-head with the Bo Sox tonight here on Fox. And hi again, friends. With Joe Simpson, I'm Chip Carey. Welcome to America's most beloved ballpark. That's what they call Fenway Park, and hopefully, Joe, it'll be a happy place for the Braves for the first 2 games of the series have gone Boston's way. With that in mind, the Braves have a very different look to their lineup. A new second baseman's joined the club, the debut tonight of Tommy La Stella.
Yeah, it's exciting to see a new face at second base because things have been a little rough at that position for the Atlanta Braves in that they're not getting a whole lot of production. But Tommy La Stella, as you can see, hugging his dad there, big thrill for him. The team was in Pawtucket, which is the AAA franchise of the Boston Red Sox. His sister there was also in attendance. So a great night for the La Stella family. 25 years old, an 8th-round pick out of Coastal Carolina. And one of the things that really stands out is that this guy gets on base, a high on-base percentage. He was the MVP at Mississippi last year, had a tremendous on-base percentage, and had a great batting average.
But he's here because of need. The Braves second baseman offensively, Joe, as we know, have struggled mightily all year long.
They have. Well, take a look at this. The Major League ranks for hits, average, on-base percentage, and slugging is right at the bottom of Major League rankings. And how about this? Since that grand slam that Dan Uggla hit in the big 2-home run game he had in Philadelphia, the last 38 games, second basemen have driven in 5 runs. They've got to have a little better production. I'm not sure that La Stella's a guy who's going to drive in a bunch of runs, but he's certainly capable of getting on base and helping guys behind him drive him in.
So welcome to the show, Tommy La Stella, and what better place to debut than historic Fenway Park here in Boston, Mass. When we come back, Jen Hildreth will talk about what Tommy's role will be on this Braves ball club as we continue after this.
Boston as the Braves pay a visit to Fenway Park, but for one Brave in particular, the scene is nothing short of perfect. Hi, everybody. I'm Jen Hildreth, trying to stay warm like the rest of the Braves here in Boston. Isn't it supposed to be summer? But despite the weather, it is always special when you get to pay a visit to Fenway Park, and that is certainly the case tonight for Tommy La Stella. You heard Chip and Joe talk about the young second baseman who will be making his major league debut tonight, and I had a chance to talk to both Tommy and to manager Freddie Gonzalez about what they're asking of La Stella.
Anybody who I've spoken with has always told me the same thing: just go out and play my game and do what got me here. Don't change a thing, and that's what I intend to do. I'm not trying to go out there and do anything that I'm not capable of doing or change the way I play. I mean, it's been good enough to get me here, and I intend on keeping playing the way I am.
Obviously, offensively, we need to get some production out of that second base position, but we have enough firepower around them that we don't need anything crazy. We don't need anybody to come in and win the batting title or a home run title or anything like that. Just be productive, hit 250, 260, 270, whatever it is, and get on base and give us an opportunity to lengthen our lineup.
Well, Tommy does have some familiar faces on this Braves team. Evan Gattis, who is in the lineup tonight, a late addition after his wrist felt better, was a teammate of La Stella's a couple of years ago in Rome. Those two were actually road roommates. And Tommy told me he talked to Evan when he got here tonight, and Evan told him basically, just don't change, just be yourself. It sounds so simple, right? But here's another good vote of confidence. Tommy played with Ian Thomas last year in Mississippi, and I asked Ian about Tommy, and he just said, that kid can flat out hit. Well, we will see what La Stella can do tonight. He will be batting 8th for the Braves. We'll see if that bat can help the Braves break through and snap this 2-game losing streak to the Red Sox. First pitch on the way from Fenway.
Are celebrating the 10th anniversary of their 2004 World Championship team. And what a club Terry Francona had in that 2004 season. The Red Sox won 98 ball games, made the playoffs as a wild card, and that was a group, Joe, that was affectionately known as the Idiots. And there were a lot of very colorful personalities, shall we say, for that Boston World Series club.
Not to mention some really good players, and what a rally they put on that year, coming from 3-0 down against the Yankees to advance in the postseason. And a lot of those players are here tonight.
Pedro Martinez got a huge standing ovation when he made his way out to the center of the diamond. Curt Schilling is back in Boston. And David Ortiz, the heart and soul of the Red Sox World Championship Club last year, greeting all of the 04 squad members as well. And they do such a great job here in Boston with their special ceremonies. All of their heroes come striding out from the Green Monster. And last but not least, look at who is here in Boston today. Manny Ramirez is back.
That's Manny.
That's Manny. Always a unique hairstyle with Manny Ramirez, who is back in baseball now as a player coach with the Chicago Cubs AAA club in Iowa. Former Brave Derek Lowe is also here. He became the first pitcher ever to win the clinching game of 3 playoff series in one postseason in 2004. Pedro Martinez and Curt Schilling, the first Red Sox teammates to strike out 200 batters in a year. And Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz became the first American League teammates to hit 300, hit 30 homers, and drive in 100 runs since 1931. Truly a special, special Boston ball club. And Manny Ramirez is going to throw out the first pitch. Jason Varitek, the captain, behind the dish.
And everybody waiting on Manny. And it's Manny time, you know.
Yep, yeah.
He's on Manny time. Intercepted by Johnny Damon.
It's amazing. You watch the video highlights, and they had plenty of them on the scoreboard in center field. How young and energetic and youthful all those players looked back then when they won the championship. And now the Red Sox reunited in the center of the diamond as well. A special moment for the fans at Fenway Park, celebrating a World Series championship back in 2004. And we'll be back right after this.
Braves baseball is presented by AT&T Uverse, Delta Airlines, and Ford.
We're running a few minutes behind in Boston as the Red Sox celebrate their 10th anniversary of the World Series championship they won in 2004. When we do get to baseball, we'll have Gavin Floyd and John Lackey toiling in Game 1 of this 2-game series here at Fenway Park. A little taste of October here in late May. It is very chilly, 47 degrees, and a northeast wind out of The Boston area at 15 to 20 miles per hour. It feels a lot colder than 47 degrees, but the forecast is simply for chilly weather with improving conditions in time for Game 2 tomorrow.
Yeah, and a little mist in the air too. So it's been, they had the field covered, tarp was down, neither team hit on the field.
So with all the news today of the joining of Tommy La Stella to the Braves 25-man roster, there's another important cog in the Atlanta lineup who isn't playing tonight. And for more on that, let's check in with Jen again.
Yeah, Andrelton Simmons, obviously a lot of people concerned about his situation after he left the game yesterday. The word was that he had right ankle inflammation. They just kind of wanted to see how it went. It had been a lingering condition, but good news, he may not be in the lineup, guys, but Freddie Gonzalez said he came in really wanting to play today. If it was up to Andrelton, he'd be out there, but Freddie Gonzalez said that he was just going to go ahead and give that ankle another day of rest, precautionary, but good news overall, guys. We should expect to see Andrelton back soon.
That is good news indeed, Jen, as we take a look at the Braves starting lineup presented by skipper Freddie Gonzalez and Toyota. Jason Hayward, B.J. Upton, Freddie Freeman, 1, 2, and 3. Justin Upton's in left. Evan Gattis is back in the lineup. We had a little scare with Evan in batting practice yesterday, but he's good to go tonight. Ryan Doman is the DH. He loves hitting at Fenway Park. Chris Johnson, Tommy La Stella, and Ramiro Pena is the 9th place hitter for the Braves this evening.
On the mound for the Boston Red Sox tonight is Big John Lackey, 35 years old, 6'6", 235 pounds. Got off to a rough start. You can see the ERA and the opponent's batting average against was pretty high. But his last 6 starts, he's gotten it turned around. Very good numbers. And he's 3-2 here at home. He has 34 straight starts working of at least 5 innings pitched. He's a tough customer, but as we look at his 4 keys to pitching success, sometimes he can be his own worst enemy. He's very stubborn, and he can lose his composure and get mad at himself. He can get mad at the umpire, and sometimes that leads to some problems. We'll see if that happens tonight. He is also ultra aggressive, 88 to 95 with his fastball, slider, and a curve.
So the Red Sox snap their 10-game losing streak down in Atlanta. They've won the last 2 games head-to-head with the Braves. Big innings were a big part of the Red Sox success. They had a 5-run 5th in Game 1, 4 runs across in the 7th last night. So we'll see if the Braves can even the score in the 2 games here in Boston. Jason Hayward's going to lead off for Atlanta. He loves hitting in this ballpark. Let's hope that continues in Game 3 here tonight. Jason at 240, 4 homers, 12 knocked in. And up and out of play, and we're underway. .47 degrees officially at first pitch. And there's a strike. James Hoy has the plate tonight. Bill Welke, John Tumpane, and Bob Davidson. Same crew that worked back in Atlanta. They're here in Boston. As Jason skies one down the left field line. Bogarts makes a fine running catch. Good start for the Boston shortstop. Sander Bogarts takes care of Jason Hayward.
And in this ballpark, the shortstop's got to do a whole lot more than just catch ground balls. He's got to be willing to play anything that might be fair, that hits off the grandstands and shoots into shallow left field. He's got to be alert to that and cover a lot of ground behind third base.
B.J. Upton a little late, and he's behind in the count, 0-1. Upton at 210, 4 homers, 11 RBIs. He's done a nice job hitting second for the Braves. Last 6 games, he's got 7 hits. Last 9 games, he scored 8 runs.
Well, this is very un-Boston-like to see John Lackey throwing at such a quick pace. He is working fast.
That's certainly a different approach from the one Buchholz and Lester took for the Red Sox in the first 2 games. Buchholz walked 8 men in 3+ innings. John Lester really struggled with his command at times. A lot of deep counts, but got it his way to 6 innings and the win. It's out of play by Upton. 2 balls, 2 strikes. BJ far and away the most at bats of any Brave here at Fenway Park. Of course, that work came while he was with the Tampa Bay Rays. This is his 165th at bat in Boston. He's hit 7 home runs and knocked in 16 runs. You and I were talking earlier tonight when we walked into the ballpark. As great a target as the Green Monster is, with the wind doing what it's doing, this is, I'm sure, not a fun place to try to hit.
Oh, it would be a great night for the pitchers if they can keep the ball toward the center part of the diamond or to right center, because it is really a stiff breeze blowing straight in.
Upton chased a bad ball and is down on strikes. 2 up, 2 down for Lackey.
Lackey's coming off arguably his best start of the year, and that came against Tampa Bay. He was trying to help his club snap the losing streak, and would have, but they blew the lead late in the ball game. He worked 7 innings, gave up 5 hits and no runs, walked 1, struck out 3.
Freeman takes a shot toward left, and that's going to drop in for a hit. He takes an odd left turn near the line, and Freddie's going to try for 2. And he's going to slide in safely with a 2-out double. So Freeman has his 14th double. He's in scoring position with 2 out.
Yesterday, the Braves lost in a game that we all thought they got kind of pinged to death in that big inning the Red Sox had. Somewhat on hits somewhat like that. A little opposite field, Ric Flair to left.
So let's see if Justin can chase home Freddie Freeman. He's riding a long hitting streak for the Braves. And that's off the plate. 1 ball, no strikes. That's upstairs. 2 balls, no strikes. Ten-game streak for Upton. 4 homers among the 16 hits he's picked up in this hot streak. Lackey pitching him very carefully.
Well, not to be. I mean, it's not unexpected because of the way Justin's swinging the bat. The Red Sox saw him swing the bat so well at Turner Field, going 5 for 7. So they may want to take their chances with Gaddis instead. Let's see if Justin gets a green light here, though.
That caught a corner. 3 balls, 1 strike. Now it's full. Let's check out our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard in the Braves first.
League averages, Justin Upton 3rd in there among active players, behind Mauer and Markakis, 2 American League players. And after the 3-0 count, 2 straight breaking balls. So they've gotten the count back to 3-2. See if it's another breaking ball, if they waste a fastball outside.
It was the heat, and Upton missed it. And Lackey's out of first inning trouble. No runs, a hit, a man left. Scoreless after a half inning in Boston.
A lot of excitement, a lot of thrills. I know that. The fact that he's got some family here too for his first opening day, or first major league assignment. What a night.
So Tommy La Stella in at second base for the Braves. He'll take a look at this Boston Red Sox lineup presented by their skipper John Farrell and Toyota. Grady Sizemore has had a resurgent last couple of days. He's up to 227. He's playing right field for the Red Sox tonight. David Ortiz and Dustin Pedroia, fourth and third for the Red Sox, both had big games back in Atlanta.
And Gavin Floyd on the mound for his fifth start of the year. He's 31 years old, 6'4", 235 out of Baltimore. And boy, has he pitched well against the Red Sox in his career. Undefeated in 8 starts with just a .219 opponent's average against him. His work scouting report tonight. Avoid big innings. We know that each of the first 2 games, big innings, have killed the Braves by the Red Sox, and certainly friendly confines. Not only is he 7-0 against them, he's 3-0 in this part.
And he's got a tango with Brock Holt. He's off to an impressive run for the Red Sox. He's riding an 8-game hitting streak. And was 3 for 10 back in Atlanta. This little guy does good work in the first inning, too. A nice spark plug at the start of the ball game for the Boston offense.
Just watching Tommy La Stella, the infielders, the rest of the infielders were trying to get his attention because he was being positioned by the dugout to move a little bit. So that will be ongoing. He'll be taking peeks in there all night and probably for some time to get the proper defensive alignment based on the scouting reports for these players.
One ball, 2 strikes for Brock Holt. And Floyd struck him out looking.
Spring training is a wonderful experience for a player who's never been in the big leagues, in that you get a chance to be around these players and get to know them, and they get to know you a little bit. Excellent curveball there by Gavin for the strikeout. But for Tommy La Stella, it's not like walking in, being traded and walking in and seeing all strangers. He did get to meet these guys and play with them a lot in spring training, but nothing compares to the regular season.
And I would imagine he's ready for that first defensive chance to get that out of the way, too.
You bet. Break the ice.
Xander Bogaerts is the hitter with the bases empty, and a check swing is into the seats foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And the scouting report on Tommy has been, and what we've been told is that he is a good offensive player and he can get on base and handle the bat, but that his defensive abilities are his shortcoming. So we'll all learn together. And if he's even average, if he brings his offense to the table, something the Braves need, then I think that'll be just enough.
2 balls and a strike for the Boston shortstop, Xander Bogaerts. Braves got to town very early in the morning this morning. We arrived in Boston around 3 a.m. Several of the Red Sox traveling party didn't get to sleep until 4:30 or 5. So a rough travel night for both these clubs. As Bogaerts is the first Boston base runner, he's walked with 1 out. And that'll bring Dustin Pedroia to the plate.
Walks have not been a problem for Gavin Floyd. That's just his 6th walk in 25+ innings. He's averaging right at a strikeout per inning.
So here's Pedroia. Couple of homers, 17 RBIs. And he takes a strike. Pedroia 4 hits down in Atlanta. He knocked in 3 runs. His single on an 0-2 pitch got the Boston 5th inning rolling. That was against Irvin Santana. And 0-2.
If it seems dark watching the game at home, it is, and has been just about this dark all day long. Gray and overcast, and it's been like this for the last several days here in Boston, but the sun is expected to break through tomorrow and warm all the way up to maybe even 60 degrees. And people are very excited about that.
I know we are. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bogarts is back to the bag. The Red Sox start play tonight. 8 games behind Toronto. Boston and Tampa Bay in the bottom spot in the AL East. Toronto leads the Yankees by 3 full games. Another sliding stop by Gaddis. Evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. What has to concern Boston too is their lackluster play at home. They've lost 17 of their first 27 games on their home field. John Farrell's club tied for first in most home games played already over in the junior circuit. Two. And a pop fly foul back. And they're taking aim at Bill Bartholomew, who's a couple of booths down, but he had the window shut. Otherwise, he would have made the catch. There he is.
He was ready. He'd gone to one knee. I'm not sure if it was to try and hide behind the desk or if it was to make the play.
The 2-2 pitch. Up and into Pedroia. That's a full count. Big Poppy David Ortiz waits on deck. Floyd about to make his 16th pitch of the opening inning. Bogart's a good lead. He's going. The pitch bounced foul at third. Again, the payoff pitch. Runner goes. Swing, fly ball, well hit to right. Hayward gives ground. He'll make the grab. And he has no play at first as Bogarts hustles back safely. 2 outs. And here's David Ortiz.
A lot of people think that when you play the outfield in this ballpark that the hardest to play is left field because of the green monster and the funny caroms you get off that fence. But in my opinion, the hardest is right field because of the curvature of the fence down the right field line, and because it's so deep behind you, you're just not used to it being 380 feet straight behind you, and it's sometimes hard to figure out where you're supposed to position yourself.
Well, with Big Poppy up there, Hayward's drifting back a couple of steps in deep right. And why not? Ortiz with 12 homers. And he takes a ball high. And I would think from a pitching standpoint, you think you make a good pitch to right, but then there's the pesky pole 302 feet away.
Yeah, somebody might hook one around the foul pole and get a cheap one.
The 1-0 pitch is taken low. 2 balls, no strikes.
Like a few signatures on the pesky pole.
They must have some really tall fans. 2 balls, no strikes. That's low. 3-0.
Ortiz has good numbers against him. 8 for 25, 3 homers. That's A.J. Brzezinski on deck.
Ortiz had a green light and he fouled it straight back. It's 3-1.
We got a good pitch to hit too. May have overswung a little bit, trying to hit it a mile on a 3-0 count.
So it's 3-1 now. And Ortiz will go off. A couple of free passes from Gavin Floyd in the opening inning. And that'll bring up A.J. Pierzynski. 22 pitches for Gavin in the opening frame. Pierzynski played in game 1 back in Atlanta. He had a RBI single in the 7th inning for the Red Sox. The active major league leader in games caught. Now in his first year with the Red Sox. AJ's been a well-traveled player. The Twins, the Giants, the White Sox, the Rangers, and Boston. Good pitch, had him fooled. It's 0-2.
You know, it's a lot of pitches for Gavin this inning, and it's not something he planned on, but it is a cool night. The weather, from a fatiguing standpoint, will not be taxing.
So a fun matchup, a former White Sox, Floyd versus Pierzynski. As Gaddis smothered that, Bogaerts wandered far off second, but not far enough. If anybody on the Boston club has a better idea than A.J. Pierzynski of what Gavin Floyd can do on the mound, I'd like to know who that is. Bogaerts at second, Ortiz at first, and now Gavin wants a pause. Hot shot and speared it short by Pena. Ramiro to his left made the grab, and A.J. Pierzynski out of luck in the Boston first. Evan Gaddis back in the lineup. He'll lead things off for the Braves in the second. No scores so far at Fenway Park. Play in game 2 back in Atlanta because of an incident during batting practice yesterday.
Yeah, it was on this swing right here off Freddie Gonzalez where he stopped, was looking at his wrist, then walked out of the cage, walked around behind the cage to Jim Lovell. Braves assistant trainer, and from there right into the clubhouse.
We showed you Evans' hand during the game last night. He had that wrap or splint, whatever you want to call it, to brace the wrist. And he was not in the original lineup we were presented in the press box. Gerald Laird was. And a pop fly down the right field line, and that ball is going to reach the seats. No play for Grady Sizemore. 0-2. And Gerald wanted us to let everybody in Atlanta know he is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
There's no physical problem other than extreme soreness with all the playing time he's picked up behind the dish the last week. Good to have Evan back in the lineup tonight. The 0-2. Ripped foul straight back.
So far, so good. A couple of big swings. That would have been a good test right there.
Popped up. Pedroia, Nava, Sizemore at the line in foul ground. It's Pedroia. He's there, and he's got it. Gaddis pops out, and one away in the top of the second. Here's Ryan Doumit. He's the Braves' designated hitter tonight. High pop left side this time. And it'll be Brock Holt on the warning track. He's got it. And two pop outs retire Gaddis and Doumit.
So far, it would appear his fastball is getting in on some of these hitters. That one was at 93. And the Braves not able to catch up to it with three pop-ups on the infield.
Third baseman Chris Johnson bats. That's out of play, and Chris behind 0-2. Tommy La Stella on deck. He awaits his first big league at bat. But first, 35-year-old right-hander John Lackey has to finish with Chris Johnson. And he just did. Chris is down on strikes. Lackey has 3 of those in the first 2 innings, and we still have no score.
Toyota, and AT&T.
No score on a cloudy, misty night in Boston. We head to the bottom of our second inning, and we invite you to join us for Hall of Famer Greg Maddux Bobblehead Night. It's coming up Tuesday, June 17th, and that's presented by Delta Airlines. The first 20,000 fans get to take home this one-of-a-kind souvenir. Get your tickets today at braves.com/tickets or by phone at 800-745-3000. June 17th, the Braves will host the Phillies. Haven't seen the Phillies for a while. The Braves don't have many home games in June. We've got 9 in total. 2 against the Mariners, 3 with the Angels, 3 with the Phillies, and 1 with the Mets.
Phillies are doing okay on the road, 12-12, but they're in last place in the division, tied with the Mets, and percentage points behind them, 5 games back.
Here's Johnny Gomes. And a strike. Gomes batting .236, 5 homers, 22 runs batted in. Little tapper. Pena charges. Bare hands. Fires wide of first. It gets away from Freeman. It heads toward the camera well. And by the time Freddie picks up the baseball, Gomes slides into second, and there he'll stand to start the inning.
The only play Ramiro had was to barehand this, but pretty obvious that he pulled it, and there's nobody down the line here to help back up the play. Base hit, P6.
And scoring chance for the Red Sox and Grady Sizemore. He was fooled with the first pitch. A swing and a miss. Sizemore had a nice game last night. He singled, he doubled, he stole a base, he scored a run, and he knocked in one on a ground out. He also tripled and scored in the opening game of the series back at Turner Field.
When he swung at the first pitch, you got to remember that he was not a Boston Red Sox by birth. He broke in with the Cleveland Indians, so he hasn't figured out yet that you're not allowed to swing at the first pitch. But he's learning. He'll get there.
1 ball, 1 strike. There's a swing and a miss.
Good breaking ball.
But one thing they do well is hit with 2 strikes. This Boston Ball Club has racked up a ton of 2-strike hits this year. 180 of them coming into the game today. Big lead by Gomes at second with nobody out. A little foul out of play.
Quite a difference in 2-strike hits between these 2 ball clubs.
One ball, 2 strikes. And out of play. Whether you're a fan of the Red Sox or not, I think you have to root for a guy like Grady Sizemore for him trying to do what he's attempting with Boston this year. He's missed 2 years. Microfracture surgery on his knee.
Back surgery.
Man.
And that microsurgery on both knees.
1 ball, 2 strikes. That pops away from Gaddis, and it's headed for the on-deck circle for Boston. And moving up 90 feet will be Johnny Gomes.
Must have hit a shin guard. If it got under his glove and hit the the knee pad part of his shin guard. That's what caused it to ricochet so far away. Wild pitch.
So the Braves infield's going to creep in with nobody out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A wild pitch helped lead to the first Boston run last night. Brock Holt advanced to third and came home on a Padres sacrifice fly.
The thing about Grady Sizemore is that before he originally injured his knee, he was one of the premier players in the American League, if not all of baseball, because he did so many things well. Great speed, good power, excellent defense.
Broke his bat, it appeared, on that pitch. Well, the power and speed combo was what was so fun to watch, and his almost graceful play in the outfield, I think, with the Tribe. In the history of the Cleveland Indians organization, there were 2 players that had as many as 100 homers and 100 stolen bases. Joe Carter and Grady Sizemore. The All-Star team 3 straight years.
And there's a 30 man one season.
He'll be 32 in August. Boston hopes there's lots left in the tank. He works a full count. An infield hit, a throwing error, and a wild pitch has Johnny Gomes at third base. Now payoff for Sizemore. He lost him.
Trying to throw a back foot slider and just buried it a little too deep. Third walk already.
That ties Floyd's season high with the Braves. That came on May 18th against the Cardinals in St. Louis. Now Daniel Nava hits. He's the Boston first baseman.
This is the culprit that drew the walk after falling behind 0-2 to Santana with 2 out in the 5th inning of Game 1.
Late swing, that's headed for the seats. Strike 1 to Nava. Nice catch. Won't be so happy when his hands thaw out later. 47 degrees at first pitch tonight.
You know, this really, you think about it, this isn't a bad summer day in Nova Scotia.
No balls and a strike. Downstairs, it's even. Kevin not sharp to start the game tonight. He has yet to allow a run, though. He's in some second inning trouble. Lestella's first chance. There's the feed to Pena for 1, and the throw to first is in time, and that's a double play. It will score Johnny Gomes for the game's first run, but Tommy Lestella with a perfect feed to Pena starts a 4-6-3 double play.
Braves willing to trade a run for 2 outs, and they get it. Good feed from Lestella to Pena.
Mention the fact that there was no batting practice. There's no fielding practice either.
That's a very good point.
So the first chance for Lestella. He's gotten that out of the way, and Floyd can go to work against Jackie Bradley Jr.
Every infield's different, speed-wise, hardness, how quick the ball gets to you.
a miss by Bradley. It's 0-2. Jackie had a big hit in the 7th inning last night, a 2-run scoring single. Those runs were charged to Luis Avila. Bouncing ball, foul at first, and we'll do it again. Red Sox are making Floyd pay for a bit of wildness, up to 44 pitches now. One way high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Very different look for Boston up the middle. New #1 catcher, new shortstop, new center fielder. Bradley's the man-manning center, and he skies that one out of play, foul. Do it again.
And at least to this point, his offensive numbers have been a bit of a disappointment. At just getting over 200 now after his base hit yesterday. Because he's got good wheels, and they'd like to use him as a 9-hole hitter to steal a few more bases and get on base in front of Pedroia and Big Papi.
Swing and a miss. Floyd gets Bradley, and that retires Boston in the 2nd. Tommy La Stella handled his first defensive chance. His first big league at bat is coming up next.
Making his major league debut tonight, Tommy La Stella. We just saw him turn a double play at second base, and let me tell you, his family here, we've got mom, dad, brother, sister, they like the double play. They're getting ready for his first major league at bat. I've got to ask you though, Phil, you were trying to get some rooms in his hotel in Pawtucket. You didn't quite make it there. Tell me that story from earlier today.
Chrissy and I were in Pawtucket watching his AAA game last night, and we decided to try and stay with him at the team hotel. So I had texted him and said, can you check on availability? And I was on the treadmill and the phone rang, and usually he just texts back. He won't usually call. And I got the phone call, and he said, Dad, I got some news. There's some hotel rooms available here, but you may want to look for something up in Boston. That's all he said to me.
His first swing in the big leagues turns into a ground ball to Dustin Pedroia at second base. And so Tommy La Stella 0 for 1.
So He didn't quite get a hit there, but, you know, made some contact, which is kind of what the Braves were hoping for. But, I mean, safe to say this is one of those big moments in life, isn't it?
Oh, boy. Yeah, well, you know, for him, it was just, you know, we keep harping on the same thing. Hit the ball hard and just play. So he didn't exactly hit it very hard, but it's better than a strikeout, as Christine just said. So we'll take the half full glass.
Dad's getting a little emotional here, I think. Just one thing quickly. These guys, Mike and his younger brother Tommy, grew up with some help in the basement. What did you guys have? Pitching machines down there?
2 pitching machines set up. One was a fastball, one was a curveball. And, those things were the bane of our existence growing up.
But they paid off. They paid off, and now you guys get to sit here and watch. I'm going to let you all enjoy the rest of the game, enjoy the moment. Chip, Joe, send it back up to you.
All right, Jen, thank you very much. Here's Ramiro Pena in for Andrelton Simmons at shortstop. The ankle still sore for Andrelton, who, as Jen reported in Braves Live, politic to play tonight, but Freddie Gonzalez sitting up. Take one more day. Hopefully he'll be good to go in the series wrap up here tomorrow.
Better to take a day and get it right, make it feel better than to keep playing on it and run the risk of a DL stint.
Pena's had some experience in this ballpark. Remember, he was a Yankee. So he looks at this Red Sox rivalry a little differently now as a Brave. But Ramiro is still 4 for 14 at Fenway lifetime. This is his 10th career game here. 1-2 pitch. And it's served over short. That is gonna drop in front of a diving Bradley. And Gomes backed up to play. Back to first is Pena. That's the second Atlanta hit of the game.
They just kind of flipped that one out over short. Backdoor breaking pitch might have been a cutter. And a 1-out start to a good inning, perhaps.
So we have the Ric Flairs from time to time. We'll call that a flip finder. To start the third inning. Here's Hayward. Jason's loved hitting in this place. We've been bragging about Jason and the rest of the Braves, Joe, the last 2-3 weeks, hitting the ball the other way. I would imagine as a left-hand hitter, this would help increase your desire to do that with the Green Monster staring at you in left field.
Yeah, but don't just show up in Boston and start thinking, okay, I think I'll start going to left field now. You better have something in your back pocket, the ability to do that, or take advantage of a pitch that you can hit that way. Because you can put yourself in a big slump as a left-handed hitter trying to go to left field here.
Big cut for Jason, who's 7 for 13 now in this ballpark. 3 doubles and a homer among those 7 hits. Jason's got a good thing going. He's hit safely in 13 of his last 15 games for the Braves, and his average has been climbing steadily. Didn't get that pitch, and Lackey has his 4th strikeout. Runner at first, 2 down.
Lackey's 8th in the American League in strikeouts to walks. He's averaging 4.2 strikeouts to every walk he issues. Pretty much the pace tonight. He's got 4 and no walks.
His first strikeout was B.J. Upton in the first. Ooh, a good cut. And fouled straight back, 0-1.
Anybody else for a hot dog?
Mentioned a good start for Lackey his last time out against Tampa Bay, but the start before that was anything but a good one. Against Detroit, 5 1/3 innings, 9 hits, 6 runs.
Straight back toward us. now 0-2 for B.J. Upton. With the lead at first, not going, and a broken bat bouncer out to Pedroia. He's got it, and the peg to first is in plenty of time, and that retires the side. Tommy La Stella's first big league at bat is under the belt, and Boston leads 1-0. Of our third inning. Grab the Braves steal of the game tonight only. See the Braves take on Robinson Cano and the Mariners next week. And you'll get club level seats for only $20, plus get free $7.55 club access. That's a 50% savings. Visit Braves.com/steal now. It still seems so strange to say Robinson Cano and the Mariners, doesn't it, after all those years with the Yankees?
It truly does. That looked like a well-worn Boston blanket these people had. But good for them and smart enough to bring it. You see a lot of people with hoods up tonight. It's a raw night at Fenway.
They may set a world record for chowder sales. In tonight's ball game, here's Brock Holtz, and he takes a strike at the knees. He struck out looking to start the ball game for the Red Sox. Like this little guy. There's a lot of energy. He's in there for Will Middlebrooks at third base. We talked about it in Atlanta. The Red Sox will have an interesting decision in the weeks ahead as to who plays where and when. Stephen Drew is scheduled to play at AAA Pawtucket tonight as he nears his return after the Red Sox signed him. So you've got Drew, you've got Holt, you've got Bogarts, three guys to play two spots on the left side of their defensive infield.
And eventually Middlebrooks. I like the way some writer put it that Drew had graduated to AAA.
That's a good way of putting it. You're right. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's downstairs. Well, the most optimistic of Red Sox fans have said, well, we haven't had our team together this year. That's partially true. There has been a lot of turnover. As one writer put it, there are still 20 members of this ball club that were holdovers from last year's team. As that ball shot toward right, Hayward's going to gallop over and catch it. He gets there for out number 1. It seems to me, Joe, the real concern is all the home games that Boston has squandered. You lose 17 of your first 27 in this ballpark. That's a big home field advantage that you've let slip away in the first third of the season.
And this has always been a tough place to play. Tough to come in here and win.
But they're only 7 games behind Toronto in the loss column. The problem is it doesn't look like Toronto's ever going to lose.
Have a look at some of the numbers here. Winning percentage, the worst since 1932. Runs per game since 45, and batting average lowest since 68. So they've got to figure out a way to pick up the pace a little bit here offensively. And as we've talked about, Chip, and as you said, their last homestand they led for all of 1/2 inning.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
It was about 6 games, or was it?
It was a 6-game homestand. 1/2 inning out of 54. One ball, 2 strikes. And a pop up. La Stella drifts out. B.J. Upton comes charging in, and he can't make the catch. He and La Stella stare at each other, and the ball drops at Upton's feet.
Tommy went out, but BJ plays so deep that he had a long way to go. He's out there by the warning track, and he had a long way to go. Looked at Tommy, kept coming, but landed pretty close to La Stella.
So it's a double for Bogaerts, and now Pedroia stands in. 1-0 Red Sox. Pedroia fly to right his first time.
Another part of that pop-up is that the wind is blowing straight in. So it was actually holding it up and pushing it a little bit back toward the infield.
Again, no batting practice, no fielding practice for either ball club tonight. It's not an excuse for that play not being made, but you can understand La Stella to a certain degree just trying to get his bearings in his first 3 big league innings tonight. One pitch is high from Floyd. It's 2-1. Doubles for Bogaerts now. Back our way and overhead.
Dustin Pedroia is out of Arizona State. Was a finalist when he was at Arizona State for the Golden Spikes Award. That's pretty good for a guy his size in college ball, aluminum bats, and guys hitting the ball out of the ballpark at unbelievable rates.
Swing and tipped into the glove of Gaddis. Pedroia trying to crank a high fastball over the monster, and he's out number 2.
Third strikeout for Gavin. Went upstairs, threw it above his hands, couldn't catch up. And he's a good high fastball hitter. Sometimes you can lure those guys that are good high ball hitters, in this case, to maybe chase something a little out of the zone. Floyd pitched around Ortiz. He walked him in the first.
Brzezinski then lined out to end the inning. Hot shot. La Stella knocked it down. Long throw, and Freeman the scoop, not in time. Infield hit for David Ortiz. Tommy almost made a spectacular play to end the inning.
Yeah, infield hit if you refer to right center field.
Yeah, good point.
Great play by Tommy to knock it down. And got some help on the other end from Freddie Freeman. And now Freddie Gonzalez is going to come out and argue that maybe they got him. It's Bill Welke at first base.
Long throw from La Stella.
Boy, it might have gotten him. Maybe not enough to overturn the call, though. Still very close.
It appears there will be no challenge on the play, so it is a hit for Ortiz. So Brzezinski bats. He lined out to short. Boston threatens first and third, leading 1-0 in the third. Strike one to A.J. Brzezinski. AJ's no spring chicken. He's 37 now. Two-time All-Star. Very durable catcher, 110 or more games in 13 straight years. Now the 0-2.
Nice stop. Got to keep the ball down in this ballpark, and with his breaking ball, he's already bounced several up there, including that one wild pitch that led to a run. But you have to do that in this park is if you're going to miss down.
Two and two. Brzezinski was a Minnesota Twin, then went to the Giants for Boof Bonser, Francisco Liriano, and Joe Nathan. When the White Sox signed him as a free agent, same story with Boston. 2-2. Up the middle, a base hit. Another two-strike hit for the Red Sox. This one by Brzezinski brings home Bogarts, and the Red Sox extend their lead now to 2-0.
For this one, it looked like. Yeah, that was a pretty good pitch. Fastball down and away. Nice piece of hitting.
So 25 RBIs for Brzezinski now. And Johnny Gomes, the batter. Gomes reached on an infield hit. Daniel threw the ball wide of the bag at first for an error. Johnny to third on a wild pitch, and then he scored on the Nava double play ball. That's high, 1 ball, no strikes. That's an upstairs ball, 2. In the air to center. B.J. Upton surrounds it and makes the play, and that retires the side. Some miscommunication cost Gavin Floyd a base runner and a second run. It's 2-0 after 3. Park. Boston 2, Atlanta nothing. We head to our 4th inning in time for our cold hard facts, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light.
Boy, take a look at how the Braves had it their way here from 97 to 02 with a +38 run differential, but since then the team has gone 4-8 here with a very high ERA and an opponent batting average of .276.
So a little more breathing room for John Lackey. He's allowed but 2 hits in the game. The first one to Freddie Freeman with 2 outs in the first inning. Freddie leads off the Braves' 4th tonight. That just missed. A ball and a strike. Pedroia at second. Bobbles, recovers, and throws a strike to first. 1 out. He made a great point about Pedroia a second ago. He said a player of his size and the power he generates, the way he plays. Last week, Braves inducted Rabbit Moranville into the Braves Hall of Fame. Pedroia's a little bigger than Rabbit, but maybe not by much. He's listed 5'8", 165 pounds. But don't let the size of the man fool you. He's an outstanding player, one of the best ever for the Red Sox. They named him to the All-Fenway team as the starting second baseman.
No kidding.
In the history of this franchise. Yeah.
He's a tough cookie.
One ball, 1 strike for Justin Upton. He struck out swinging to end the Braves' first. Yankee leads by 2. He's 5-3 so far. Has a pretty impressive streak working too. He's gone 5 or better in 34 consecutive starts. That was tipped and caught by Brzezinski, and Upton is down swinging again. That's 5 strikeouts for Lackey tonight.
Strikeouts have not been an issue for the Braves in recent days. They've been putting the ball in play with a lot more regularity. But tonight, Lackey's got a good fastball working, and it appears the Braves are a little late on it.
John now 10 strikeouts away from 1,700 as a big league pitcher. Here's Gaddis. Evan popped out to second. He's 0 for 1. The wrist issue apparently not a problem for Gaddis. A couple of big swings in his second inning at bat. A rare breaking ball. It missed. 2-1.
You've got a good fastball, good life on it, and he's throwing both a 4-seamer and 2-seamer.
Line drive into left field. That'll get down for a hit.
No reason to show a breaking ball too often, but there was a slider that was raked to left field. Good swing by Evan here. It's down and away. Not a whole lot unlike the swing Brzezinski put on the ball a minute ago.
So that's the first hit for Gaddis at Fenway Park in his young big league career. Here's Domet. Ryan popped out to third in the second. Brock Holt caught it. Warning track down the left field line. Strike 1. Another pop. This one over the Braves dugout and back into the seats. Foul. Will do again. 0-2. Braves start play tonight. Game and a half ahead of Miami. The Marlins are back at it in Washington. They're beating the Nationals 4-0 in the 5th inning. It's Alvarez and Zimmerman at Nationals Park. They were rained out yesterday. They'll play a doubleheader in September to make up yesterday's washout. That's a little low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. A swing and a miss at a slider. Domet didn't get it, and that's 6 strikeouts for John Lackey. No runs, a hit, a man left. 2-0. Boston the lead in the 4th. Our game started from an offensive standpoint for the Red Sox. An infield hit, an error, a wild pitch. And then first defensive chance for Tommy La Stella. Good play for the double play, but a run scored and Boston led, and they added to the lead in the third.
Yeah, this pop-up that dropped between La Stella, I think he gave up on this a little too soon, and it dropped near him. That runner reached second base, scored on a 2-out single by Krasinski. But it seems like every single solitary mistake the Braves make, whether it's a wild pitch, a pass ball, an error, whatever it is, the Red Sox turn that into some offense and into some runs scored.
They're trying to win their third straight game after a 10-game losing streak. Now Gavin Floyd will face the bottom part of their order in the fourth. Sizemore, Nava, and Jackie Bradley Jr.
And it's hard to believe, but if they win tonight, it'll be their first 3-game winning streak of the season.
That's got to be a record, don't you think, for a defending world champion to not have a 3-game winning streak until the end of May?
And he started 15-10.
Amazing. Sizemore down a strike, and now he's down 2 of them. 0-2 your count. Well, the Red Sox know all about the battles in the American League East. They've got to improve their fortunes dramatically within the division. They're 9-17 against the Orioles, Yankees, Rays, and Blue Jays. They were swept in a 3-game series at home by Toronto. They lost a home series to Tampa Bay and the Yankees, and they've split 4 with Baltimore. That'll get you in last place. You don't play well in the division. Way high from Gavin to Grady Sizemore.
Gavin could use a quick inning. 77 pitches, as you see there.
That just missed the corner. So from 0-2 to a full count. Gavin's already walked 3 men tonight. La Stella at second. No trouble there. There's a good start. 1 man down in the Boston fourth. With Tommy La Stella coming up from Gwinnett, Tyler Pasternak was the man who was sent back down to AAA. So hopefully Tyler can get that leg a little healthier. I don't know if that was really ever truly 100%. I know he said it was. And I think it's fair to say, Joe, he's got to work on some things defensively too.
He absolutely does, Chip. He can swing the bat. If his leg gets back to 100%, we know he can run, but he's really got to work on his glove work.
And Nava down a strike. He skies one towards center. Upton drifts back, and he's on the warning track and makes the play for the second out. So Nava's 0 for 2. And here's Bradley. He struck out swinging to end the second inning. 2-0 Red Sox. Gavin Floyd a perfect 7-0 in his career against Boston. He's 3-0 at Fenway Park. Up and away, 1 ball, no strikes. Hot shot. La Stella can't get it. It's into center field. Jackie Bradley scalds one. That's a 2-out hit. Bradley's bat starting to come to life. He's got 3 hits in his last 4 at-bats against the Braves. Brock Holt, the hitter. Brock Holt was acquired from the Pirates. Pittsburgh had to figure with Neil Walker and Pedro Alvarez that playing time for this guy would be awfully tough to come by.
He's got to be in the right place at the right time, and for him to get out from under that situation in Pittsburgh and come to Boston, where an injury provided him with an opportunity, he's making the best of it.
Tried to bunt. That's well fouled. Strike 1. Nothing happening on the 0-1 pitch from Floyd. Bradley's a perfect 4 for 4 in stolen bases this year. Big lead at first. He's not going. Holt swings and misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Remember Jamie Carroll? This guy kind of reminds me a little bit of Jamie Carroll. Size-wise, friskiness, not a lot of power, but puts the ball in play.
Ball bounced up, and Gaddis a nice play to keep it in front of the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well out in front of the plate too to the hit. Nice cover by Evan.
Bradley a lead at first. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Got an amazing stat for it. Ready?
Sure.
Here we are. It is the 28th of May. Boston Red Sox are in last place in the AL East. The Houston Astros, who've lost 100 games for each of the last 3 years, have as many wins as the Red Sox. They won again today, 9-3 over Kansas City. Kid George Springer is sizzling hot for them. Holt took high on the appeal to third. No swing. Full count.
Springer hit another homer.
He has hit 6 homers in his last 6 games. His 6 homers in this past week is more than any Royals player has all year.
I'll give Bo Porter and his staff a lot of credit. They've gotten that team in Houston playing well.
Runner goes, and it's skied out of play. Bradley will head back to first.
There was a lot of speculation as to whether or not they would call Springer up because they didn't feel like he would be enough to get them over the hump and have a chance to win the division. They're probably right, but why not bring him up and get him some more experience and get a lot of big league at bats, so when you get to that point.
Holt scalds one toward Pena, who bobbles. It drops at his feet, and he makes the pickup and toss to first in time. And that retires the side. Nothing doing in the Boston fourth. 2-0 Red Sox. Something going for the Braves offense. See just 3 hits tonight. And that's one of the newest and they say coolest features of remodeled Fenway Park. The monster seats. That is a dramatic change from what used to be above the Green Monster in Boston. If I'm remembering correctly, Joe, all that was up there was a big giant net.
That's correct.
And that ladder was used for the grounds crew to have to go up with a stick to manipulate the net to get all the baseballs off after batting practice.
That's correct.
How'd you like to have that job?
Not to mention how high you got to jump just to get to the ladder.
Yeah, right. Chris Johnson starts things off for the Braves. And nearly got plunked. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It is amazing, though, the job that the Red Sox ownership has done in massaging the seating capacity here, adding the modern amenities to a 100-year-old ballpark. And you and I were talking, we've been here before, we've been coming to the ballpark for 20-odd years, you a lot longer than I, just how much work has been done and how wonderful this place has held up over time.
They've done a great job of refurbishing and trying to keep up with any erosion, let's say, over the years. It's clean. They put a new floor in all the concourses, new concrete floors. And for them to have expanded into what amounts to some club level and the second level above the grandstand, that's pretty remarkable in this place.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And Johnson a little flare down the first base line. It's going to slice foul and out of play.
I think I told you yesterday about the drawing that I had seen years ago about a new Fenway Park replica that would be built right behind this one. But we got to the ballpark today and there's a big new high-rise going up there, so I don't think that will happen anytime soon.
Fenway Park, home of the Red Sox since April 20th, 1912. They had to wait out 2 days of rain here in Boston, but they finally hosted their first regular season game before 27,000 fans. And that was the genesis of the great Boston-New York rivalry. The Red Sox won 7-6 over the New York Highlanders on that day in 1912. As Chris Johnson swung at a ball in the dirt, and he'll be retired by Brzezinski at first. That's 7 strikeouts for Lackey and 1 away in the 5th. This is on a strikeout binge again.
Well, if you just joined us, Tommy La Stella's first big league at bat was a ground out to second base. He was hitting .293 at Gwinnett, 8th in the league in doubles, 10th in on base percentage, and 1st in at bats per strikeout of over 14. I mentioned that he was in camp and got to know these guys pretty well. And not only that, he played in a lot of games. He was getting a good hard look.
Line drive into center field. Tommy La Stella has his first big league hit in his first big league game.
Off John Lackey. Breaking ball, banged it right back through the middle. He had 47 at bats this spring and hit .255 before he was sent down. That will go in the trophy case.
How cool is that? Your first big league hit at Fenway Park. What a thrill. So he's aboard with 1 out in the 5th. And here's Ramiro Pena. And he unloads to center. Bradley breaking back. The wind's going to push that ball into his glove for out number 2.
Well, not only that, but not too many National Leaguers get their first big league hit at Fenway Park.
So back to the top, and Jason Hayward. Jason 0 for 2. Long one here would tie it up. I'll bet you remember your first big league hit like it was yesterday.
Yeah, it was infield hit off of Dave Tomlin, left-hander for the Padres.
When you made contact and took off, was it slow motion or
It took forever to get to first?
right?
I can tell you that it took forever. It was like the basement had been moved to 180 feet instead of 90.
1 ball, 1 strike. And a shot to right field. That'll get down in front of Sizemore. La Stella will stop at second. The Braves play it station to station. Hayward's good luck in this ballpark has continued tonight. And the Braves have a 2-out threat, 2 on for B.J. Upton.
He's had it pretty easy so far. John Lackey. Target set up way outside, and he missed by about a foot, putting it where Brzezinski wanted it, and that's why Hayward got a good swing on that one. But if you can get this guy rattled a little bit, put him under the gun, he can lose it quickly.
B.J. 0 for 2. Seen some evidence tonight of something Greg Walker talked about on the homestand. Braves at times were swinging at some uncompetitive pitches. A little anxious there was Upton. He nearly went around again. And he did go around again. 0-2.
I believe he did.
And on 3 pitches, Upton's retired on strikes. 8 punch-outs for John Lackey. But the good news is Tommy La Stella's on the board. His first big league hit, a rope to center field. And the Braves trail 2-0 after 4.5.
Braves baseball is brought to you by Dodge, Georgia Power, The Home Depot, and Zaxby's Indescribably Good.
That statue of the great Ted Williams, the splendid splinter, they called it here in Boston. Not only was Ted Williams a great hitter, a great philanthropist too. He was very involved with what is known as the Jimmy Fund here in Boston, a great charitable endeavor that has helped save thousands of children's lives with the battle against pediatric cancer. So time for our AT&T Universe trivia question. Over the last 10 years, what visiting players hit the most homers at Fenway Park? Last 10 years, most visiting homers. Floyd back to work, trailing 2-0. Xander Bogaerts, the batter for Boston. I would think it would be a team or a player from the American League East. 9 games a year in this ballpark. For 10 years, that's 90 games, right?
Makes sense.
Just missed. Named the first game to mind was Derek Jeter, his final season as a major league player with the Yankees.
Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah.
He hasn't hit any here this year. I don't think he will.
Off the glove of Johnson, and that's going to trickle down the line. Pena plays the carom perfectly, and that's the point Joe made earlier about what shortstops have to do in this ballpark. That funny angle necessitates the shortstop being very aware of what's going on, and Pena was.
Pitch that was up, he turned on it. Chris got a little leather on it, but pushed it over into that spot on the wall. There's so little foul territory here. That's why the shortstop's got to start heading that way. Ramiro got a late start on this, but was still able to hold Bogaerts at first.
And Pedroia with a wicked hard cut. Fouled straight back. It's 0-1. How about Jose Bautista? I wonder if he would be
a good call too. Evan Longoria.
Yep. I might throw Edwin Encarnacion on that list, although I don't know if he's done it for 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
How many home runs he's hit this month? 14.
No kidding.
For Toronto, yeah. 0-1 for Pedroia. Let's take it on. Years ago, when Dustin was just a kid in the big leagues, he had a great nickname with the Red Sox. David Ortiz and the guys called him Caballito, the little horse. He was upon the little engine that could for this Boston ball club. David Ortiz gets the headlines, and deservedly so, but if you talk about the heart and soul of this club, might be the guy in the batter's box.
This guy's got an MVP award. I don't think Ortiz has one of those.
1 ball, 1 strike. And that's off the plate.
I went back and looked in the first 2 games plus what we played in this one. And for the Red Sox, the Braves have had 5 perfect innings pitched out of 22, not 23. And the Red Sox have only recorded 4 out of 23. So the Braves have had guys on base. The Red Sox have had guys on base. And these pitchers have been racking up huge pitch counts early in the game because they're working out of the stretch all the time and having to try and be careful.
Two balls and a strike. Yanked foul again. Nice play.
She's a left-hander, you know.
So is he. Alex Wood is first man up in the Braves bullpen tonight. Gavin ready for his 100th pitch. And it's lined to second. Lestella's returned to first, not in time. And Pedroia lines out for the first out of the 5th inning. Good base running by Bogarts to get back safely. Here's David Ortiz. He's walked and reached on an infield hit. It's the infield hit with an asterisk. You might recall Estella was playing about 30 feet off the dirt. And a wonderful sliding stop, but a long throw. Now Ortiz to reach first safely. Towers buzzed there for ball 1. David with a wry smile checking out Gavin Floyd.
Gavin Floyd looked right back in at him like what are you looking at?
There's a strike. It's even 1-1. 443 lifetime homers for Ortiz. That's 39th all time. And 12 this year for Boston. And ball 2. Be careful here. Ortiz with 3 lifetime homers against Floyd. And a 3-1 count. Driven in the air towards center. Upton is going to come in and make the grab. Back to first is Bogarts. Ortiz missed his pitch. 2 out. Here's Brzezinski. His 3rd inning RBI hit extended the Boston lead to 2-0. Back to the mound, and Gavin Floyd with a nice play, and that retires the side. He pitches around a leadoff single, And this game goes to the 6th. 2-0 Red Sox. And by 22 Jump Street. 2-0 Boston. We are into the 6th inning tonight at Fenway Park. Glad you're with us. With Joe Simpson and Jen Hubwith, I'm Chip Carey. It's now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag SouthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T. I want to see somebody with a lobster roll and a Braves hat.
I want to see somebody lying on the beach. Just to make me feel bad.
Boy, we really are different. Here's Freddie Freeman. Get around. Strike one. A double and a ground out for the Braves first baseman. He scored 9 times in his last 10 games. And into the upper deck over the Braves dugout foul. It's 0-2.
I knew when I walked out of the hotel today to go to the bus, and the doormen are still wearing heavy, long top coats and gloves and earmuffs, that I thought, you know what, this doesn't look good.
And they were right. A raw evening here at Fenway Park. Freddie's down on strikes. Lackey has 9 strikeouts in this game. Again, we told you he started play tonight 15 away from 1,700. Let's hope he doesn't get there in this game.
This was not his 4-seamer. This was a 2-seamer that kind of rode up and away from him, got him to chase it. 9 strikeouts, no walks. 8 times in his career he's struck out as many as 9 without a walk.
12 punch outs, his career high, last done against the Rockies and the Yankees on April 12th. I take that back. Last done against the Colorado Rockies on June 26th last year. So 12 strikeouts, his career high. He's got 9 tonight. He's gotten Justin Upton twice. A high fly ball hammered deep left field. How far is this one going to go? It's going to go high off the monster. And Justin Upton will stand at second with a 1-out double. Jackie Bradley just turned and watched that ball sail. And the wind blowing straight in might have been the only thing that kept it in the park.
Absolutely was, Chip. You're right. And it went right into the teeth of the wind at that light tower out in left center, which is right in line with a 379 mark. very high off the wall. The only thing that kept it in the park was that breeze.
So another chance for the Braves to get on the board here. Evan Gattis, the batter. He singled his last time up. Evans 1 for 2 in the game. Boston leads, but doesn't have the feeling of a comfortable lead for John Lackey. Red Sox have left their share of men on base too. They've stranded 6. Braves have had base runners in every inning but the second so far tonight. There's a strike. It's 1-1. Nice block by Przinsky. 2 balls and a strike. Bit of a stare down in that last sequence.
Yeah, it's like one was waiting for the other one to step off or step out.
Evans in the driver's seat here. 3 balls and a strike. Ground ball toward third. Holtz got it. Looks the runner back. The peg to first and the stretch in time. And that's out number 2. Big out for Lackey, behind in the count. 3-1 to Gattis. And now Upton's at second for Ryan Domit.
When you were doing the lineups, you showed that Ryan Domit's had some pretty good luck here at Fenway Park. Tonight he's been a little behind. Fouled out or popped up to third his first time up and then struck out in the 4th. Chased a bad breaking ball on that occasion. One just like that. So maybe he's ready this 3rd time around for Lackey. Catch up with the fastball.
10 career games, 10 career RBIs for Ryan Domit in Boston. Smoltz last night made an interesting point about hitting with runners in scoring position. Braves 2-out runners in scoring position numbers until the last couple of weeks were abysmal. They are improving. This would be a big pick-me-up if Ryan could chase home Justin Upton with the Braves' first run. He too ahead in the count. 2 balls, no strikes.
Two breaking balls in, and then on a 2-0 count through a backdoor slider that was a good pitch.
And the heater is line foul to the left. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Just missed the corner. Lackey thought it was good enough to be called strike 3.
Yeah, he was headed to the dugout. Bob Strike shows it never got to the plate. Stayed wide of it the whole way.
Well, he doesn't want to walk Domit. Upton at second. Full count pitch. 2 outs. Top of the 6th. Popped up. And Bradley in center is going to catch that, and that retires the side. Braves got a one-out double from Upton. He's left aboard, and we head to the home sixth, down 2-zip. Win round-trip airfare anywhere Delta flies in the continental United States. You'll also get 2-night hotel accommodations and $250 spending cash. Either on your mobile devices or your computer at foxsports.com/south/Delta. Good luck. And our pal Mac Honey and the lovely ladies on the Delta Airlines flight crew that got us to Boston are at the ball game tonight. Hope they're enjoying their trip to Fenway Park this evening. And hopefully Alex Wood will as well. He's on in relief of Gavin Floyd to pitch the Boston sixth.
He worked 2 days ago against Boston. An inning, gave up a walk, had a strikeout. 3.23 ERA and over a strikeout per inning pitched. This ballpark's traditionally been tough on left-handers because of the short porch in left field. Teams can load up their lineup with right-handers and use the Green Monster to their benefit.
Two runs, one earned over 5 innings for Gavin Floyd tonight. 3 walks. They came in the first 2 innings. Then he settled in. So Alex Wood versus Gomes, Sizemore, and Nava in the Boston sixth.
It's the 5th unearned run that Gavin has allowed out of the 13 total.
That missed inside. 2-1 for Johnny Gomes. Over the outside edge. Gomes scored the first Boston run.
I'm really surprised teams don't quick pitch him. He's in the box right now. And that was actually a quick look up from him. He's been very slow to even look up after he gets in there.
He's standing in the box. You could fire away right now.
Give a sign.
And he'll take a walk. Leadoff pass in the 6th from Alex. And that'll bring up Grady Sizemore. Fourth walk issued by the Braves staff in the game tonight. first since Sizemore walked in inning number 2. That one right there, a 92-mile-an-hour fastball.
One of the cool things here with their message boards is that they make it look like the manual scoreboard and out-of-town scoreboard that's in the green monster in left field. So even the message board looks exactly like that.
The Cubs situation is quite different from Fenway. Though both the oldest ballparks in the big leagues, Fenway isn't located smack dab in the middle of as large a residential area as Wrigley. Yet they have managed, with all the signage and the scoreboards and the restaurants and the luxury box seating that you spoke of earlier, to make this place still seem just as quaint and as intimate, yet altogether modern as well. It really is remarkable. Manual scoreboard. As a ground ball will sneak through the right side by Sizemore. Long run for LaStella. He couldn't get there. And a walk and a single starts the 6th against Alex Wood for Boston.
He's playing for a double play up, cheating up the middle, and Sizemore pulls one through the hole. Makes it look pretty simple.
So Ryan Lavarnway is going to replace Daniel Nava. Lavarnway was called up to the Boston Ball Club while the Red Sox were in Atlanta. At 265, a couple of homers, 11 RBIs in 44 games with Pawtucket. That's downstairs. Alex hasn't been sharp in the 6th inning. A walk and a hit, now ball 1. Pitches, 4 strikes for Alex Wood.
Catcher speed at the plate too. He needs a ground ball here. Good chance to turn a double play.
Big swing and a miss.
Heard a little bit of chanting going on from the crowd. It has been so much quieter here in front of Boston fans than it was in Atlanta for Boston fans.
Yeah, the newspapers up here were calling Turner Field Fenway South. That's how loud Red Sox Nation was. As the long way skies one toward left center field. Who's going to catch this? It's going to be Justin Upton. He's there for out number 1.
I'm not sure why, but as soon as that ball went up, BJ started looking at Justin and immediately pulled up on it, and Justin's having to hightail it over there to catch that ball, which was really more in center field than it was in left. I don't know if BJ didn't pick it up, and I don't know why he didn't take more of a controlling interest in that, since he's the center fielder.
Here's Bradley. He is struck out and singled. Fast runner, tough man to double up, you'd figure. Called strike.
Get a good view of this. BJ looked like he was going to have a play on it. If you want it, you're the center fielder, you can go get it.
That's a nice stop. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jackie Bradley Jr. gives the Red Sox an infusion of youth. This is another veteran Boston ball club. Ian Bogarts. And a line drive toward left. That's going to get over Upton's head and bounce off the base of the monster. 1 run will score. It's going to be a double. Runners second and third for the Red Sox. Gomes comes all the way around to score the 3rd run of the game. And it's now 3-0.
Second time in as many games that Bradley's gone the other way against the left-handed pitcher. Fastball up and away, and he went with it. He got a big hit that drove in 2 runs yesterday off of Luis Avilan. And his leadoff walk came home to roost.
Now they're at second and third with 1 out. And Brock Holtz the batter. He's 0 for 3. Infield in for Atlanta. It nearly hit him. 1 ball, no strikes. Heading into yesterday's ball game in Atlanta, the Braves bullpen had been outstanding. But a rough patch last night. Alex Wood in some trouble here in the 6th. Gaddis had to make another play. 2-0. Caught a corner. Ground ball toward LaStella. He's coming home. Gaddis will apply the tag. So the infield in saves Atlanta a run. Sizemore is cut down at the plate. Bradley to third. Holt to first on the fielder's choice. And there's out number 2.
Every little bit helps at this point. This is one run you don't have to put across to tie or win the game. And a good throw from Tommy.
So that's our Zaxby's indescribably good play. Good job by Gaddis, too, to allow Grady Sizemore an avenue to the plate. So no chance for the Red Sox to protest that part of the call. And he was easily out number 2. Here's Bogarts. And he takes a strike. Xander Bogarts from Aruba is 2 for 2. Up into the seats to our right. No balls, 2 strikes. That moved him off the plate.
Just got his attention.
Bogarts started for Boston in all 6 games of the World Series last year. At 21 years and 22 days old on Game 1, the 11th youngest position player ever to start a World Series game. Among the other 10 to be that young, 5 ended up in the Hall of Fame. Freddie Lindstrom, Mickey Mantle, Travis Jackson, Ty Cobb, and Willie Mays. And 5 went on to win an MVP.
That's some good connections.
Yeah. He's the second youngest player to start each World Series game for a team that won it all. The only player younger was Florida's Miguel Cabrera, who was 20 years old when the Marlins won their first championship in 2003. The second championship in 2003.
John Farrell there on your right wins a world championship in his first year at the helm of the Red Sox.
Been a tougher time for him in 2014, but Boston trending in the right direction. 2-2 pitch is cut on and missed, and Bogarts and Boston retired in the 6th inning. They do cash in a leadoff walk, however, and extend their lead. It's now 3-0. Lackey, as Joe mentioned, coming off arguably his best start last time out against Tampa Bay, a game that saw him earn a no decision with 7 innings of scoreless ball. He's pitched 6 innings of scoreless ball tonight against the Braves, but leads 3-0. He has struck out 9 men. Ryan LaVarnway takes over at first base. He pinch hit for Daniel Nava a moment ago.
And to have this many strikeouts, his pitch count's very manageable. 94. His season high is 112.
Out of play for Chris Johnson, a ball and 2 strikes. Chris struck out twice tonight. And shoots one toward first. LaVarnway blocks it with his chest. Nice play. And Lackey got to the bag for out number 1. Ryan's a catcher too, and that's exactly how he played that ball.
Yeah, he did. That's what I was thinking. He's looking at the dugout and smiling because, oh, I thought I was going to play first base and not have to do this any tonight.
He had to take a chest protector with him out to the first base bag. But he stuck with it, and he got Johnson for out number 1. So here's Tommy La Stella, an unforgettable night for Tommy. He grounded out in his first big league at bat and hit a bullet up the middle in the 5th for his first big league hit. Earlier this spring, Mark Bowman of MLB.com had a wonderful story about Tommy La Stella, who at one point as a high school player sort of lost the desire to play baseball. As a high school junior, he quit playing before his senior season at St. Joseph's Regional High School in New Jersey. His parents said, that's fine. If you don't want to play, that's great, but you got to get a job. So Tommy ended up getting a job delivering hay bales for Halloween. But there was another part of the job that he liked even less than that. He had to feed an uncooperative donkey at the place where they baled the hay. He said, day after day after day of trying to feed this donkey, I thought, what in the world am I doing? I could be getting ready for my senior season of baseball. And he quickly came to his senses, and as Joe mentioned, played some college ball and was drafted by the Braves, and here he is in his debut.
He liked coastal Carolina so much he makes his home in Myrtle Beach now.
And a bouncing ball up the middle. He's got his second hit.
Smiles all around for the La Stella clan. Not one but 2 hits in his first big league game. Fastball down but out over the plate. And right back where John Lackey had been standing.
So a 2-hit night for Tommy La Stella. To put a capper on Bowman's story, he said he might be the only major league player who can thank a donkey for his professional career.
That's pretty good.
Let's see if Braves can put some pressure on Lackey. There is action in the Boston bullpen. Miguel Pena had a 3rd inning hit. Didn't get that pitch down and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Marlins have surrendered their lead over Washington. The Nationals have come charging back. It's now 4-4 in the 8th at Nationals Park.
There's Chris Capuano loosening up.
Hot shot up the middle by Pena. So 2 on, 1 out, and back we go to the top of the order. A.J. Przinsky will walk slowly to the center of the diamond with Jason Hayward coming up.
John Farrell also in a slow walk.
John Lackey did not want to leave this game. But he'll get a nice ovation from the Fenway faithful as he leaves leading 3-0. But the Braves threatening in the 7th. lot of base runners, but a lot of strikeouts. Most of all, no walks.
Well, he has scattered the 8 hits. He's collected 9 strikeouts through 6 innings, but did not compound his night giving up a lot of hits with a lot of walks. If the Braves had gotten some free passes, it might have been a different story, but he pitches into the 7th inning and leaves having not given up a run, but 2 guys on base belong to him.
So his good work, our Volkswagen pitching performance. And now John Lackey turns things over to Chris Capuano and the Boston bullpen. A Boston bullpen which is 2nd in the American League in ERA. They have done excellent work.
He pitched an inning in Atlanta the other day before the rain came, but he is normally a long reliever. He did face Jason Hayward and got him to foul out.
A 1-for-3 night for Hayward. 2 on, 1 out. Great chance for Atlanta to put something on the scoreboard. And a strike call. Broken bat out toward Pedroia. He'll have 1 play, and it's to first. Whew, Capuano dived out of the way as a piece of the barrel of the bat came whistling past him on the pitcher's mound. 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs, and a scary moment. Look at the sharp end of that piece of wood.
You know, he almost stuck his glove out there like he couldn't tell if it was the ball or the bat. I mean, he's pulling his glove back almost like you would a short hop on a ball hit back to you. But he's right in between the ball and the bat. Lucky to get out of the way. Big at bat in this game right here.
2nd and 3rd, 2 outs for B.J. Upton. 2 strikeouts and a ground out. Ball 1.
They've got a right-hander in the bullpen, but didn't bring him in to pitch to BJ, so an opportunity to hit off the lefty. They don't want to pitch to Freddie Freeman, so there's a good chance he'll get something to hit. Two and out. Upton entered this series 1-for-3 lifetime against Capuano. He's actually been tougher against right-hand hitters than lefties so far this season. That's because he's got an excellent changeup. Fastball that ranges into the low 90s, a slider, and a good change.
Off the plate. Good eye by Upton. 3-0. Freeman's next.
Gotta think he's going to get a green light here. 3-0.
Pitch downstairs. Upton walks, and the bases are loaded.
This may work out for Chris Capuano, but to pitch around BJ to pitch to Freddie Freeman is a big risk.
Freeman's been so deadly with runners in scoring position for the Braves.
He too fouled out against Capuano in Atlanta.
So he's 2 for 17 lifetime against him. Bases full of Braves, 2 out. And a strike, and Freeman didn't think so.
check out Fox Tracks to see if Freddie had a gripe, and he did.
Count. Stella, Pena, Upton, the Braves runners. Inside. Freeman's 7th at bat this year with the bases loaded. He's an astounding 7 for 14 this year with runners in scoring position and 2 out. Only slightly less effective since the start of last year.
First pitch in, and he took it. That's a pitch that he quite often will go after out of the zone inside. But now, will they go back out after just showing him inside?
Brzezinski smothered that. It wasn't close. A walk means a run. Justin Upton waits on deck. John Farrell pondering his options. Red Sox bullpen is busy.
Freddie's got to have a very small zone here. Look for a pitch in a location for Capuano. If it's not there, take it.
He had a big rip. Now the runners will move with a full count. The Red Sox don't want to see that man. They're not real comfortable seeing that guy either.
What's he comfortable throwing? 3 and 2 that he thinks he can get an out.
Runners go. Freeman, hot shot. Pedroia with a backhand is there, and that retires the side. The baseball and B.J. Upton got to Pedroia at the same moment, but he made the play to preserve the shutout. It's 3-0 at the stretch. Atlanta nothing. Braves loaded the bases in the 7th inning, but could not break through yet tonight. Braves baseball brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff for low price every day. 3-4-5 for the Red Sox in the 7th. Alex Wood back out for a 2nd inning of work. Pedroia, Ortiz, and Pierzynski. And a strike to the Boston second baseman. That's launched over the rooftop. And out of play for a 2-strike count. 3 runs, 8 hits for the Red Sox. No runs, 8 hits, an error for Atlanta. Gavin Floyd went 5 innings of 1 earned run ball. And Pedroia does what he does so well. An 0-2 hit. He had one of those in game 1 of the series, and it really hurt the Braves in the 5th inning.
He got a good pitch to hit 0-2 in Atlanta that got that rally going. Well, that kept it going. And he got a good pitch to hit there 0-2.
So Alex Wood, 3 hits allowed in relief in an inning plus. Here's Ortiz. He's walked, he's singled, and he's flied out. These American League games are marathons, aren't they?
They are.
We have had 1, 2, 3 half inning in the game. That was when the Braves batted in the 2nd. And that's up and away, ball 2. Ortiz with a look back.
Kind of like the pitch that was called a strike on Freddie Freeman. Turnabout.
Pitcher's pitch, 2-2. Pierzynski's on deck. Can't give him any more. 3-0 Boston.
See if Alex goes with his breaking ball here, 3-2 to Big Papi. Even if he doesn't throw it for a strike, he'll give in to him.
Little roller toward first. Freeman will give some ground and make the play at the bag. And nobody covering third base. Pedroia thought about sprinting that way, but Chris Johnson got back in time. No further advance. Runner at second, 1 out. And here is Pierzynski.
It's one of the things that I'm sure Pedroia has paid attention to because of all the shifts that are put on David Ortiz. But in situations where the ball might still be on the infield somewhere, but if the third baseman is shifted over on the first base side of second, there's nobody at third.
Pierzynski shoots one into right field. That's a hit. Hayward playing deeply. He's got the baseball, and Pedroia will hold it third. So first and third for the Red Sox with 1 out.
He's done that twice tonight where he's big and strong enough just to sort of reach out and one hand the bat out there to get the baseball for a base hit. One up the middle, one to right field.
That's 10 hits now for Boston in the game. Gomes has one of them that came back in the second. He scored 2 of the 3 Boston runs. The second came on a leadoff walk issued by Alex in the 6th inning.
They had 12 hits last night.
Boston tonight 4 for 11 with runners in scoring position. The Braves 0 for 6.
Hey, Johnny!
And a strike.
Can't afford to give him any more. You really need a ground ball, need a double play, or a strikeout.
Johnny Gomes was a big part of the Red Sox team last year. He had 4 pinch hit home runs last season, 4 of his 13.
Part of that Oakland team the year before, right?
Yes, sir. He had 18 bombs with the A's in 99 games in 2012. And a shot to left. That's going to get down in front of Upton. Pedroia is going to score the 4th run. And the Red Sox are hitting Alex Wood awfully hard in this game. That's 5 hits in an inning and a third. Gomes a productive night, his 23rd RBI to go along with 2 runs scored. Brzezinski stops at second, and here's Grady Sizemore. He's walked and singled. Red Sox have awakened from their May slumber.
And that 1 inning really jolted them awake.
Yeah, the 5th inning in game 1.
Yeah, on Monday.
And it was in a space of 4 pitches.
Yeah, they scored 8 runs on only 7 hits that day.
Right, yeah. And you had the 0-2 hit by Pedroia. And then Ortiz on a 1-0 count hit the 3-run homer. I mean, the Braves lead was gone in a blink of an eye.
That's right.
And again, talking to the Red Sox people, the way the Red Sox won the games in Atlanta is the way they won a lot of their games during the regular season last year.
Ortiz still steaming over the called strikes.
One and 2 for Grady Sizemore. Gaddis might need a new set of shin guards after this game. He's been sliding left and right all night long.
He's had a few in the dirt, that's for sure.
Those babies look shiny and new at the start of the ball game. 2-2. Count. The 3-2 pitch is taken low. Boston loads the bases, and Gaddis with a look back.
Freddie Gonzalez, in the American League, when your pitcher doesn't come up to hit in the 9th spot, you can afford to let him go a few extra innings, an extra inning or 2, I should say. And I'm sure that he was hoping that with Alex Wood coming in, he wouldn't have to use anyone else in the pen tonight. That may change.
Nobody's up at the moment. But Alex has seen 12 hitters now in his inning plus of work. Number 12 is Ryan Varnway. He flied out his first time. He's thinking about one thing. He wants to hit one over the top of the green monster if he can. Ryan turns 27 in August. 6'4", 240 pounds. That's driven down the right field line, foul. And it's 0-2. Varnway, a 6th round pick in 2008, got to the big leagues for the first time in 2011 with Boston. Last year played in 25 games and hit .299. And a bouncing ball toward third. Hesitation. La Stella handles it second and still able to turn the double play. Chris Johnson thought about going home, and that hesitation nearly got his second baseman beat up at the bag. Around the horn double play ends the 7th. Boston up 4. Grab the Braves steal of the game tonight only. The Braves will take on Robbie Cano and the Mariners next week. And you'll get club level seats for just $20 and a free $7.55 club pass. That's a 50% savings. Don't miss this great offer. Go to Braves.com/steal now. There's our main man, Matt Coney, and our lovely flight crew from Delta Airlines.
Well, they are dressed for the night. They've got all their warm gear on. Mac's rocking out.
They do such a great job. We really appreciate their hard work getting us to Boston in the wee hours this morning. We'll be on the charter after the game tomorrow night and make our way down to Miami. First, let's see if we can make some hay against Junichi Tozawa, who's on for the 26th time.
Good numbers, 20 strikeouts in 23 innings, excellent ERA. And he is their 8th inning setup guy for Uehara. Hey, you go in their clubhouse. I know you were in there today too, Chip. And it's a roomy clubhouse, but not when it's open to the media.
Yeah, you're right. I'd say 20%, 25% bigger than Wrigley Field.
Well, whatever it is, it's plenty big enough, except that when they open it up to the media, then the players hightail it to the lounge or the training room or somewhere. So there's very few players in there, but there's got to be 50, 60 media personnel in there, and not just U.S. but Japanese too.
Bouncer towards second. Pedroia's got it. Upton out by a step at first, one away.
And everybody stands around and looking at each other. Well, there's Shane Victorino. We could go talk to him, but he's on the disabled list. You know, it is so crowded. I can't imagine how frustrating it must be for the players that they must limit how much time the media has access to them so that the guys can have a little privacy in the clubhouse.
I would guess that would be the one drawback for the players who play here or at Wrigley Field. The clubhouse, while still very nice, offers very little refuge for those guys to go about their daily work, especially on a day like today when we had the mist and rain. Neither team hit on the field or took infield practice. It was tee it up and let's go at 7:10. Frustrating night at the plate for the Braves so far. They have 8 hits. Down with 9 men left on base. Gaddis 1 for 3. That hit was a 4th inning single. .95-mile-an-hour fastball. And it's 0-2.
Braves have prevented big innings tonight, and the Red Sox had chances for them. The problem is the Braves haven't had a big inning of their own.
And Gaddis is retired. Another 95-mile-an-hour fastball. 2 up, 2 down in the 8th. Mentioned last night how good the Braves bullpen has been all year long, and in this month of May. The same thing is true for Boston's bullpen. They're second in the American League with a 2.89 ERA. That's 1/100th of a point higher than Oakland's bullpen. Second in strikeout to walk ratio and 3rd overall in strikeouts. Those are the season totals for the Red Sox. And in the month of May, they have the best ERA in the league. So, obviously, you don't want to be trailing them in the middle or late innings. Ryan Dome at the batter, 0 for 3 in the game, 0 for 1 in this at bat. It's 0-2. Over 36,000 in the ballpark tonight. Many of them have headed for the warmth of their cars. Raw night, 47 degrees at first pitch.
Well, that last train to Worcester, you missed that, you're in dire straits.
There we go. $36,189 the official crowd tonight. And Doman is down on strikes. 11 Braves have struck out in the game. Tazawa's punched out 2. the 8th inning. Only one highlight, I think, from the ball game tonight, as you see on the Georgia Power game summary.
Yeah, way too many B's on caps there. And for the Atlanta Braves, Tommy La Stella has broken in with a bang. He is actually 2 for 3 on the night with 2 singles. But nonetheless, he has turned a tough double play when Chris Johnson kind of hesitated before he gave him the ball last inning. He hung in there on that. He's had a nice game here to start his major league career.
Yeah, we wish him well in game 2 tomorrow night. As we head to the Boston 8th inning, it'll be Bradley, Holt, and Bogarts. Jackie Bradley Jr.'s got a couple of hits, got another RBI. Nice job at the bottom of the order for the Red Sox the last couple of games. He's got his average over 200 now.
And it's going the right way. It's climbing in the right direction up to 211.
Third inning of work for Alex Wood. He's got a 2-2 count on Bradley in the 8th. And a swing and a miss. Gaddis will pounce and fire to first in time for out number 1. Let's get back to our AT&T U-verse trivia question. Might recall way back at the start of the broadcast we asked about home runs. In the last 10 years, what visiting players hit the most homers at Fenway Park?
I'm going to stick with A-Rod.
A-Rod? Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with Derek Jeter. See if either one of us is right. Oh,
you had it.
I had it too.
You had it. You waffled. Yeah, that pitch is a little high. Ball 1. Chip Carey will join you tomorrow night.
Bautista was the answer. The Toronto Blue Jays. Dagnabbit. Toronto's got a good game tonight. 2-2. In the 8th with Tampa Bay. Jason Varitek, Pedro Martinez. Really was neat to see the Red Sox honor the 04 team. Video vignette on the scoreboard, and then they walked him out from under the gigantic 2004 championship banner that covered up the entire green monster tonight. And Brock Holt will be called out at the plate. And that's out number 2 in the Red Sox 8th inning. That appears to be the last pitch that Alex Wood is going to throw the ball game as Freddie Gonzalez makes his way to the Fenway Park mound. 2 innings and 2/3 for Alex. He gives up a couple of runs. And Anthony Fafaro will try to finish off the inning for Atlanta next. 8th inning. As promised earlier tonight, we have our AT&T fan photo of the game. You can tweet your photo to #SouthFanPhoto. Have a shot of being shown in the broadcast. And tonight's fan photo is brought to you by AT&T.
Little Tyler Smith. Cute picture.
Interesting move by Freddie Gonzalez here. 2 outs, bases empty. Alex Wood taken down, and Favaro in for the 21st time.
Yeah, the only thing I can figure out is maybe Alex's pitch count gotten up to 57 pitches, but he struck out the first 2 guys of the inning. Anthony was very unlucky yesterday, and maybe wanted to get him back out there and get that bad taste out of his mouth.
That's what I was thinking. Tumble off the horse, get back on the next time.
All those dinks and dunks that dropped in yesterday, a couple of those guys got on base against Anthony, and then were allowed to score by Avilan. Anthony's done a great job.
Bogaerts has had himself a nice night. Sander has reached 3 times. He's walked, doubled, scored, singled, and struck out. To third. Johnson dives, scrambles to his feet, double clutch, high throw, and Freeman can't get down to the bag in time.
Good stop by Chris, and then he had a little bit of a hard time getting to his feet and getting his feet set to make the throw. Right here, okay, gets up, but he had to take 2 crow hops, if you will, before he was able to get a good grip on the baseball to cut it loose.
A little more bad luck for Anthony. Got the ground ball at somebody. But Chris couldn't unload cleanly. Here's Pedroia, and he takes a little low. 1 ball, no strikes. Gaddis can't find it. Now he's going to fire to second, off target. So Bogaerts moves up 90 feet. And you made an excellent point earlier, Joe. Every little thing the Braves err on, Boston is pouncing on.
Well, I was just looking inning by inning as this will go as a wild pitch. 2 on in the first, 2 on in the second, 3 on in the third, just 1 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth. 4 guys were on base in the 6th. 4 guys were on base in the 7th. They just, guy after guy, batter after batter, somebody's getting on, then another guy gets on. It's just kind of relentless. They don't strike out much. They've struck out 6 times tonight. They put the ball in play and they make you make plays. And if you don't, then they start adding it up.
Red Sox came in hitting .242 as a club with only 40 home runs. Near the bottom in average, near the bottom in homers. Actually been outscored by 18 runs this year coming into play tonight. I should say, including tonight's game. It's the last time you heard a Red Sox team being outscored by the end of May.
Yeah, don't tell that to the Braves. Atlanta jumped on them early in game 1. And since then, it's been an uphill battle.
After we leave town, they'll have another date with the Tampa Bay Rays. hit the road again. Brief pit stop for the Bo Sox. And Pedroia, ground ball to short. Pena to his left. Scoops and fires in time. And that retires the side. Last call for Atlanta in the 9th inning. Here's your Delta Airlines on-deck trio. Braves need 4 to tie it up in Beantown. To join us for Hall of Famer Greg Maddux bobblehead night. It's Tuesday, June 17th, presented by Delta. The first 20,000 fans will take home that one-of-a-kind souvenir. Get your tickets by phone at 800-745-3000. So here we go to the 9th inning. John Farrell has a wonderful weapon, an outstanding bullpen, and that leads us to our Home Depot tools from the dugout.
When they lead after 8 innings, they are undefeated. Uehara has certainly had a huge part in that. He does such a great job closing out games. This is not a save situation, so Craig Breslow is going to get the call here with a 4-run lead. I think that was what was part of the big surprise last year for this Red Sox team to their fans and the people around the club, was that it really was not expected to be a world championship caliber team. They brought in several new guys, none of which were what would be considered all-star quality type players, more like role players, and Uehara was one of them. A couple of guys were supposed to be their closers. They got hurt, and this guy became just all-world.
Yeah, I mean, he had some good years with Baltimore and Texas, but never as a closer. And last year, 73 games, a 1.09 ERA, and 21 saves. As a shot in the air to center field will drop in front of Jackie Bradley. Chris Johnson has a Braves hit. That's his first of the night, and the 9th for Atlanta in the game.
But I think that was part of what endeared that team last year to the fans and a lot of people around baseball, is it was just a blue-collar team. Very team-oriented.
Just in case, Koji Uehara now is going to get up and throw. Let's see how Tommy La Stella fares against a left-hander. To center, pretty well hit, but Bradley got an excellent jump. And La Stella flies out. His first big league game, he's 2 for 4. And here's Pena. Braves trying to avoid being shut out. Braves have been shut out 5 times this year. Pop fly back toward us and underneath. It's now 0-2 to Pena.
Need some base runners. Get Ramiro on. Get to the part of the order, the top of the order, where some damage could be done.
Seats again. 0-2. Popped up. And Sizemore is under it in right field. The Braves are down to the final out. And Jason Hayward will try to keep the game alive for Atlanta. Jason 1 for 4. You can't say the Braves didn't rack up their hits, but you can say the Braves didn't cash in their opportunities tonight. Hitless with runners in scoring position despite 9 hits. Retired in order twice in the game.
Left 9 on last night. Left 9 on the day they blew that 6-1 lead.
And Hayward broke his bat, pops it up. Holt is there, and the Red Sox have shut out Atlanta 4-0. The final score on a frigid night at Fenway Park. Boston has now won 3 straight. The Braves have dropped 3 straight. And we're back to recap it after this.